Hi, my name is John McDonald, and I'd like to share my experiences and thoughts as a caregiver. You may know Michelle, me, and our story from Facebook or meeting me at this conference. Our story shaped my opinions and perspective, which is why we'll start with our journey. This is Laura Michelle, known to everyone as Michelle, the love of my life. Our mutual love of fitness, Michelle teaching health and fitness to hundreds of her peeps, as she lovingly called them, and I, as a lifelong workout person, brought us together in 2012. Life was full of challenges and external obstacles, not the least of which was building a life together with blended families. Michelle with two kids, aged 14 and 18, and I with three grown married children. Michelle came home from work one afternoon in February 2016. I already worked from home, and I asked, "Would you like to go to France? I have an uncle who was in the third wave landing on Utah Beach on D-Day, and my cousin had sent me information about attending the 73rd D-Day anniversary tour." Michelle exclaimed, "What? Are you serious?" And I said, "Yes. In fact, we could go a couple days early and spend time in Paris." Michelle shouted, "Hell yes! Since I was 10 years old, I have wanted to go to France." I had an ulterior motive for that trip and planned a surprise for which I had been planning for many months. On June 1st, 2016, at the foot of the Eiffel Tower, I proposed. As you can see, Michelle said yes. By August, Michelle was experiencing bad back pain, which she thought was due to a fall when she was 16. In September, we replaced our mattress and bed with a high-end adjustable set, which seemed to help her back pain. Saturday, January 14th, 2017, we married. In March, having lower stomach and shoulder pain as well as uncontrollable itching, Michelle finally made an appointment with a physician assistant. Spring break was next week, and Michelle had promised to take Haley, her 14-year-old daughter, to Disney World. Monday, Michelle went to the PA, who was immediately concerned and ran many tests. Her bilirubin measured 7.1. The PA scheduled a CT scan for Tuesday and an MRI for Wednesday, with a follow-up with an internal surgeon on Thursday. By this time, the dreaded C word was being mentioned. Thursday, based upon the results of the scans and tests, the surgeon told us Michelle definitely had cancer. They just weren't certain what kind. Not liver, but either pancreatic or bile duct cancer. We both knew what pancreatic cancer meant, but never had heard of bile duct cancer. Even though Michelle was experiencing back pain and given cancer prognosis, when asked if we should continue our Disney trip plans for the next day, the surgeon laughingly said, "Oh, sure, go ahead." The first picture that I showed of Michelle is from Disney World. Even though she couldn't eat, with pain increasingly daily, and could stand in line only for very short periods, Michelle put on a good face and kept her promise to Haley. Following our return on Tuesday, Michelle had her first biopsy with the head of the gastroenterology department. This was unsuccessful, as he punctured her gallbladder instead of getting a good sample. So we still did not know what type of cancer it was. Thursday was the initial oncology appointment. The PA there, after a short interview, asked, to our great surprise, if Michelle knew she was jaundiced. No one had ever mentioned that before. Then the PA stated Michelle had the worst case of jaundice she had ever seen. When the oncologist entered the office, he said they were admitting Michelle and were scheduling an ERCP for early the next morning. Her bilirubin was now 13.7. During the night, Michelle's pain was so bad that she thought she was going to die. They delayed giving any pain medicine for over an hour, by which time it was too late. The ERCP was successful, but the stent was too small to bring the bilirubin down. The next day, a second ERCP replaced the first stent with a larger diameter stent. Still, the bilirubin refused to come down. 3 days later, ERCP number 3 replaced the second stent and added another stent in the other lobe. 3 ERCPs in 5 days. Now Michelle was battling infections, pain, and weakness. The infections were brought under control and her bilirubin very slowly decreased. It took 6 weeks since her initial diagnosis before Michelle was well enough to consider chemo. The first oncologist did not present a positive attitude, so we switched to another known for handling tough cancer cases. We did not know his tough cases did not include cholangiocarcinoma. No one ever explained what cholangiocarcinoma meant, explained the procedures, or even mentioned Foundation 1 testing. We were left to search the internet for bile duct cancer. Little did we know that the search results for cholangiocarcinoma would be critically different than bile duct cancer. The Cholangiocarcinoma Foundation doesn't appear on a bile duct cancer search. By April, Michelle had to give up work as she battled ascites and the associated back pain. We were forced to lobby on our own to have the fluid drained to seek pain relief. April through August, Michelle endured 3 more ERCP procedures, 3 fluid drains for ascites, and multiple hospital stays due to repeated infection and electrolyte imbalances. Early in the morning of August 17th, Michelle gained her heavenly wings. 5 months and 3 days after we were married. My takeaways from our sad story are these. First, knowledge. Being at this conference and engaging with an extremely passionate group of volunteers and staff at the foundation is a huge benefit to you all. We found the foundation by accident when my oldest daughter was looking for memorials to place in Michelle's obituary. The doctors, hospitals, information, and staff in the foundation would have been invaluable to Michelle and me. Belinda Bashini should be on your speed dial. She spoke with my daughter and I numerous times and gave me the single best piece of advice I received on this journey. Melinda told me, stop asking why, else you will go crazy. It doesn't matter at this point. Melinda was correct. Facebook groups, cholangiocarcinoma patients and warriors are tremendous places to seek advice, counsel, and camaraderie. You are not alone. Members are there to help as we are or have been on this journey and are very willing to help others. For those like me, there is the Widows and Widowers of Cholangiocarcinoma Facebook group. Number 2, treatment. Specifically ask, who is the primary doctor responsible for my patient's overall care? Don't assume. Make someone take responsibility. Who is called when fever spikes, infections appear, or guidance is needed? Time and action are critical for your patient. Don't take no for an answer. Do your own research. The foundation, Facebook groups, internet. Unfortunately, I don't believe all medical personnel have the patient's best interests at heart, and their goals may not be aligned with yours. There is the patient's Bill of Rights. You can fire your doctor. You can fire your nurse. Michelle had a couple of good nurses. The majority were okay, and one absolutely horrible one, which we fired. Ask as many questions as necessary to feel comfortable with the plan and treatment. Continue to ask questions until you and your patient understand. Never apologize for asking questions or taking too long in an appointment. Ask why is this being done and what are the possible outcomes and alternatives. Don't blindly accept what is being recommended. Write questions for the doctors and nurses as well as their answers. Keep a log or a journal of the patient's reactions to treatment, symptoms, drugs, especially while at home. Go over these with the doctor. Pattern recognition is very helpful. Number 3, advocacy. Seek advice and opinions for treatment. The Foundation, American Cancer Society, Lance Armstrong Foundation, as well as other groups can provide this information. Research. One can search for clinical trials. Your medical team should do this for you, but if they do not, you can search on your own and discuss potential options with your care team. Look for clinicaltrials.gov. Make the care team explain why a potential trial is not an option. Don't give up. Insurance and billing. The healthcare system is a complete mess. I asked many of Michelle's care team, and they all agreed. Most billings from hospitals are incorrect. Check with your insurance company to see if they can provide an advocate for you, as Michelle's insurance company did. Not having to review her medical bills removed a tremendous burden on both of us. Get a trusted friend or family member to deal with the insurance company and billing on the patient's behalf. Due to HIPAA, documents may have to be signed to allow communication with someone other than the patient, but help dealing with confusing statements is well worth the paperwork. Number 4, humor. Humor can be a great stress reliever. Michelle was in the hospital battling an electrolyte imbalance, which had her somewhat mentally confused. I was watching MASH on the TV while she slept, or so I thought. The nurse came in to check her vitals, and I was asking the nurse questions. Suddenly, Michelle spoke up and told me to quit bothering the nurse. Couldn't I see that Colonel Potter was upset because he couldn't find Corporal Klinger, and he just didn't know what to do? Sometimes God gives us humor to get through the dark times. Take care of the caregiver. If the caregiver goes down or is broken, the entire process comes to a halt. The primary caregiver must take time for themselves. I did that by maintaining a routine. I worked from home, which allowed me to take care of Michelle while she was home. I continued to work out at lunch, which allowed me to remain in contact with friends. I walked our dogs. Above all, ask for help and be specific. Ask for people help to go to the cleaners or grocery store. Go with the patient to an appointment. Pick up the kids from school. People want to help, but they don't know what help is needed, and some are just afraid to ask. Be proactive and ask for help. No one will think less of you, as no one can go on this journey alone. Number 6, prioritize. While I still worked, I regret not taking Family Medical Leave Act sooner. The patient, their care, and needs are number 1. House, yard, meetings, all are clutter and background noise. Don't worry about them. Time is your most precious resource. Number 7, final thoughts. In all things, be completely honest with your patient. Share all feelings, thoughts, worries, everything. Leave nothing unsaid. Take as much video and especially audio as you can. It doesn't have to be a special occasion. You will cherish the audio more than you can imagine. Love. Love is everlasting. Michelle and I were our closest in her final weeks. Faith in God will carry you and your patient through this journey. Learn to forgive yourself. You did do all you could. Don't forget you were never in control. He is. When and if able, try to pay it forward. In 2016, I enlisted my family and Michelle's friends to start Michelle's Hot Peeps Beat CC 5K run. This activity brought cholangiocarcinoma and the foundation into focus in our region, combining outreach, education, family, and fitness, while raising over $25,000 for the foundation in its first 2 years. This year will be our third race. Also this year, my daughter started a first annual mother-son Valentine's dance, raising money for the foundation. There are many opportunities, and everyone is needed to help those with CC, now and in the future. Let's find that cure in the next 10 years. At this time, I'd like to leave with a small PowerPoint. It's called The Train of Life. Found these beautiful words a while ago. I think they've been distilled from a poem, Life is Like a Train Ride, by John A. Passario. I love what the analogy expresses about life and death and wanted to share it with you. Life is like a journey on a train, with its stations, with changes of routes, and with accidents. At certain stops, there are surprises. Some will translate into great moments of joy. Some will result in profound sorrow. At birth, we boarded the train and met our parents, and we believe they will always travel with us. Sadly, our parents are with us for as long as we absolutely need them, as they too have their own journeys. We live on with the memories of their love, affection, guidance, and their presence. As time goes by, other people will board the train, and they will be significant. Our siblings, friends, children, even the love of our life. Many will step down and leave a permanent vacuum. Others will get off, so unnoticed that we don't realize that they vacated their seats. This train ride will be full of joy, sorrow, fantasy, expectations, hellos, goodbyes, and farewells. There will be a few people in your life that will make the whole trip with you, who believe in you. Be very grateful of these people. They are rare. Don't let go of them, ever. Be blessed for the ones who get on at the worst stop when no one is there. They are special. Always hold them dear to your heart. When the train derails, there will be people who appear out of nowhere who will get you back on track. Those people will matter most in your life. Love them forever, for you can never repay them, nor will they accept repayment. Just pay it forward. Success consists of having a good relationship with all the passengers, requiring that we give the best of ourselves. Life is about the journey and the destination. The mystery to everyone is we don't know at which station we ourselves will step down. So we must live in the best way, love, forgive, and offer the best of who we are. It is important to do this because when the time comes for us to step down and leave our seat empty, we should leave behind beautiful memories for those who will continue to travel on the train of life. I wish you a joyful journey for the coming years on the train of life. Reap success and lots of love. More importantly, thank God for the journey. Lastly, I thank you for being one of the passengers on my train.